asking Martin, how can Bhumi Varta lead the market of location intelligence in less than 2 years? In the beginning, how Bhumi Varta convinced its clients to invest in location technology.
Okay, next question. What do you think about B2G versus B2B? Let's start with Martyn.
To be honest, again, it doesn't really bother me. It's more a case of the individual you're dealing with. We do have some frustrations, obviously, here, and I've learning how business works in Indonesia. Sometimes it's all about, I find it's about talking to the right people. Again, B2G can be extremely frustrating. I'm in a position where I can't be paying money to anybody to get things done. So people might not necessarily want to give me business because they don't make any money out of it, maybe. So it can be extremely, and because of David, we're not interested in all that. We're trying to do business properly. So we're totally focused on doing business properly. So yeah, there's a frustration there, and I've had big arguments with government, with Pertamina, but I've also had big arguments in mid-level management in a lot of companies because I realize that I get blocked a lot because people know that our software, if you're a company like a supermarket chain, business development are not interested in talking to me because they quite like going to Bali to look at another site, and they quite like getting money from the owner of the land to agree to open the supermarket at this particular place. So I have to go in at the very top, and that's the frustration. So again, it's not whether it's B2B or B2G, it's who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with some great people in the government who really care about Indonesia and want Indonesia to be improved. That's their only interest. Other people have no interest whatsoever. They just care about what they can get now. So, but that's the same in companies. I've got various. I spend a lot of time having to back up my team, getting messed around at all kinds of companies because people expect something for nothing. Certain people, and then I compare that to like XXI or Janji Jiwa. I talk to the right people. It's very simple. So again, I don't think it's what kind of business. I think it's who you're talking to, the individuals. That's my take on it anyway.
But in terms of your experience, how long is which one is the better? Which one has the better sales cycle?
Oh well, of course, right. So I'll give you a clue, right? B2B, copy Janji Jiwa, 10 days open to finish, because they're the owner. They don't want to mess around. I talk directly to the owners, Billy and Kevin and those guys. They just think, yes, we need this, bang bang. XXI Cinema sat down with one of the owners, with the head of business development. Yes, government takes a long time, of course, but we are working on certain stuff with the government. We put through the normal tender. We put everything through the normal tender. We believe that nobody else can beat us for the simple reason everybody else is doing consortium. Everybody else is paying backhanders. We're just putting through an end-to-end solution. But of course, this takes time. There's no doubt about it. Benny is meeting with BPN or BSSN all the time. This is part of the process, and I'm sure Meidy knows far more about this than me because that's his. I don't think I would want a company specializing in government, I tell you, because I think it would take too long, So it's part of our business, obviously, but the thing is, with what we do, we can always get lucky. Recently, a UK company is just moving into Indonesia, and we met them, and I think this will be done, even in COVID, they need our logistics, location intelligence system. I think it will be done within 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that's if you're talking to the right person, that's going to happen. The owner or somebody who respects the company. But again, you also have B2B, which you might talk to the wrong person and they just keep telling you the same story and it goes round and round. But government in general is never quick, I guess, never.
But does the pandemic situation has changed the sales cycle in the government? Maybe quicker because they need your solution, or
I wouldn't say quicker, but it's provided us, again, we focused a lot more on government during the pandemic because they still absolutely need our software. Things like One Map Indonesia is still going to happen. So we focused a lot more on that because obviously it's going to be hard to sign up Body Shop or The Harvest right now, and that's not because the people we've talked directly to the owners of the Body Shop and the CEO of The Harvest. They're not messing us around. They're in a situation where they don't know, So retail now of F&B is very slow. FMCG is quite slow because they've got considerations of their global. Often it's not just Indonesia; it's their global book, Danone, etc., etc. But I think the government. I'm not sure it's faster or not, but we've spent more time doing it because we've had more time, I guess. Meidy will know more than me because I believe he's strongly in with the government, He's doing lots of government stuff,
how about you, Mas Meidy? Thank you, Martyn.
Yeah, I think most of the points are already been brought by Martyn. Yeah. But I think the most interesting part on government, like just what Martyn said, it will be lucky if you find the right person, and it will be very bad if you find the bad person. So, and the uncertainty is really huge. And then, actually, I think there is a different perspective on the sales cycle. At the beginning, or is it at the first transaction, at the first deal? I don't know. There is a case I've been like 2 years approaching, and then got the deals after 2 years. 2 years is really a long time, and 2.5 years. I think there's another government. There's 2.5 years because in the middle of pitching, there is a political change. Was it Pemilu and others shifting focus, and then there's another person in there. So yeah, it's really tricky. But once you've already tapped into what is it, the team itself, the bureaucrat itself, so
Okay,
I
sure.
think once we already tap in with the team, I think it's become the relationship going tighter. For example, like we with TGUPP from Jakarta and others, we become have a tighter relationship, and then after that, the collaboration much more easier than before, and then we try to put the budget to was following the budget cycle. It's much more easier, but uh, how far easier in the government? Yeah, it's still a long sales cycle. At least you're talking about 1 year, or maybe 8 months to 1 year. Yeah, that's a common expectation in the B2G, yeah. And in the B2B, yeah, just like as Martyn said, there's of course a slow company, and there is also agile, fast company that can make a decision much more faster. So yeah, that's why currently Nodeflux is much more try to shifting focus to the private, to the B2B, and I think as a company itself, B2G is a huge money, a long sales cycle, good for was it a base foundation, but for the scalability, I think we have to aim the B2B. And then in the startup perspective, I think B2B is quite have a good chance. Your company, if you really solve the problem, if you really have a spot on the product market fit, the chance that your company become sustainable, it's much more higher, I think.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mas Meidy. The next question: how do you think technology will bring advancement to Indonesia as a country?